So it was between jobs where I had time to observe and watch. And what was the second part of the question, Bob?
Well, David's a head coach, and obviously Riverside doesn't have Arkansas's, resources or money. But you as a head coach, was it hard to convince him to go back to an assistant job? Did he reach out to you first and say, "I'd like to work with you," or did you reach out to him and say, "Hey, let's work together again"? Or how'd that go down?
Yeah, I mean, he was the first name that, when we had an opening, he was the first guy that I thought would really be good and fit in with our current entire staff and knows me. And I loved his background of being a player at a high level, obviously his connections to Australia. I've seen him work as a recruiter, and so yeah, he was the first guy, but he had a really good year this year at Riverside. He's been there for 2 years now, and he was building it on the upward swing. And you look at some of the games and the wins that they had this year, like at Nebraska. He was building something that was probably going in the direction of being something really special in the Big West. However, having said that, we do have mutual friends in Johnny Jones and Brendan Surr, and I asked both of those guys to talk to Coach Patrick, because I had worked with Brendan Surr with the Orlando Magic, and Brendan had come to LSU once I had taken the Nevada job, and obviously we both worked with Coach Jones, and then Coach Jones was with me at Nevada. So a lot of interconnecting pieces that I talked to and asked if they could also talk to Coach Patrick. And so a lot of back and forth, a lot of, talking about vision and what we thought we could do together, and so on and so forth. So it wasn't just one phone call. I mean, there was a lot of back and forth. And it was hard for Coach Patrick to leave a head coaching job. I can tell you that wasn't an easy decision for him.
But you reached out to him first?
Yes.
Okay. I got some more questions, but I know Kyle, I'll respect the two-question thing, and hopefully you can roll back to me.
We'll come back, Bob. I promise.
Okay.
Hutch?
Yeah, I guess I was going to ask about Isaiah Joe, if you had any update on Isaiah and the timeline. I guess now there's a deadline with August 3rd. Do you think it could last to that?
Yeah, Hutch, I don't really know what Isaiah and the Joe family, what their timeline will be. I think that a lot of guys have been doing Zoom.
Welcome in. It's our Thursday edition of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. It's our 30-minute edition. We're going to let you hear audio from yesterday's Zoom teleconference with head men's basketball coach Eric Musselman, as he announced the hiring of new associate head basketball coach David Patrick. Gave up his position, leaving the head coach position at UC Riverside to become the chief and top assistant to Eric Musselman here at the University of Arkansas. And big-time hire, Demetrius. I mean, big-time hire. And still another illustration of the direction and connections that Coach Musselman and his staff have throughout the coaching profession. I mean, this is a guy that he's had previously coaching experience with at a stop at LSU. I believe they had some working relationships at Nevada. He's been a scout for the Houston Rockets, was the main lead recruiter for a guy that we know, Ben Simmons, went to LSU, was the number one pick in the draft, I think, Demetrius. Last time I checked. Also, too, Jarrell Martin, guys like Jordan Mickey. This guy, in 3 years of recruiting, Demetrius, at LSU, they were able to put together 2 top 5 classes while he was on staff. So when you couple with what Muss is doing and what he did in the 20 class, I'm telling you, Arkansas is going to be a major player going forward in the collegiate basketball world.
Absolutely. You know, the thing I take away is the cohesion that's is going to be really added to the coaching staff. You know, I think with the addition of this new coach, that with the prior relationship, there's not going to be any unexpected, I guess, rules and regulations that Muss runs his team by. I think you're going to see these guys mesh and fit right in, pick up where Coach left off, and I think he's going to add a big recruiting factor to that. You know, you say he brought guys like Ben Simmons, and anytime you can have a resume with NBA players on your list, you know, you're going to get the attention of young guys.
Had talked to a young man earlier in the 22 class, a young man that just recently been offered by Coach Musselman and that staff, and he spoke real highly about the NBA experience. Said he didn't, really know how much experience that they had on the bench here at Arkansas until he was able to make contact with Coach Musselman and the staff, and got a chance to, kind of put feelers out. The relationship is getting really good, and I'm telling you, most of these kids, and if you've heard our show over the last months and weeks, you've heard a lot of big-time basketball players, 4- and 5-star young men in the 22 and the 23 classes, talk real highly of the staff. I mean, when you have Earl Boykins and Corey Williams, Clay Mosier, Eric Musselman, and now you add another coach with NBA experience, and David Patrick. Is there any staff in the SEC, Demetrius, that you think has the NBA shield as boldly as the University of Arkansas?
I mean, when you look at the SEC, I think the only team you could even consider being anything close to it is Kentucky, and I think that's just due to Calipari and the longevity that he's had putting NBA players. And I don't think his I guess you could say stake in the SEC is going anywhere anytime soon. So I think when you really look at Arkansas and Kentucky, I think Arkansas is making that rise back up where they're becoming a basketball school again. They're going to be a team year in and year out, long as Muslim is here, that people have to circle on their calendar and say, hey guys, we got to get ready for this team. This is a good ball club. And then not only that, you're going to a place where the fans are fanatic about basketball and about men's Razorback. So again, I think it's going to be great. I think it's great for the SEC to have somewhat of a rivalry coming back with Arkansas coming back to heights and being a good basketball team.
Well, we're going to get off and let you hear more of the Eric Musselman Zoom teleconference, and then we'll come back with much, much more in our 30-minute edition. If you'd like to have some questions that you want us to answer, you can do so by sending them to us via Facebook Live at On the Hill Sports Talk, or our YouTube live stream. That's On the Hill Sports Talk LLC. You can get to us, but we'll be back in a minute.
So
it's our
awesome.
Thursday edition, our short
Thank you so
30-minute
much.
edition
Thanks,
of On the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio on KDSJ 479. Back in a second.
Yeah, Coach, did you get a chance to watch Eddie on Monday night?
Yes, not only did I watch Eddie, but Mariah watched Eddie, Michael Muss watched, and so did Danielle. So we as a family watched it. I mean, what Coach Sutton did it's insane, like the wins and, every place he went, he won. And obviously as a family, we were, and I had to rewind it a couple times watching what he did here at Arkansas. Just the environment and the crowd and the enthusiasm, and I thought it was awesome. I mean, any fan of Arkansas basketball, that's like a must-see watch as far as I'm concerned.
And I know you use a lot of like new technology in recruiting and as far as your virtual tours and stuff. Coach, do you ever talk to players about like just the history? Because a lot of times like these kids, they don't know even about Nolan Richardson. But do you ever bring back the history of Arkansas basketball like Eddie Sutton and what happened in the 90s?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to talk about our history. But I also, yes, we do. But we don't go overboard with it just because it has been, there's been a time gap, and so yeah, we talk about what's been done here in the past. We talk about all the great coaches that have been here. We talk about all the great players and the former NBA players, and the stuff's all over the walls in the practice site. So yeah, we do talk about it because I think it's an important part. Now we want to try to, become relevant in this time as well.
Tom?
Hey, Mus.
Tom?
Hey, question about the competition you expect to see out of this roster, like putting all the pieces together. So many new guys. What's that challenge going to look like when you really start hitting it?
Yeah, I think we'll have more. I thought we had really good intensity during practices this year, but I think we'll, probably have, more intensity in practices. We'll be able to, quite frankly, once we hit, really December and January, we stopped really competing. It was really important that we kept going.
Welcome back to our Thursday edition, our shortened edition, as we're going to close it out, and we'll not be on air tomorrow, as we'll be making our way respectively to our families. Traveling, some of us will be traveling, some of us just going to be chilling, taking it in. Demetrius, what you got going on, man? You in town, out of town, or still yet up in the air? What's going on?
Well, I really haven't made my decision up. I'm thinking about staying. I went out of town last week, but you never know.
I think I got some working to do this weekend, so I'll probably be getting some exercise in. But we continue to let you hear audio from yesterday's Zoom teleconference with Eric Musselman. And there's a question also, too, that came up with Isaiah Joe. Also make a note, Justin Smith, the grad transfer from Indiana University, Eric did say will be making his way to Fayetteville, Arkansas, on campus this coming weekend. Another big-time addition to this basketball program. But Isaiah Joe, we get to August 3rd, I believe, is the deadline for all players that want to return and keep their amateur status with basketball can return. Where are you at right now? I still think he's coming back. I think he really did his due diligence by going through this process, kind of, that early interview process that we all go through in our early careers. I think next year you'll see Isaiah attack the drills, know more about the way things run at those combines, and I think he'll be a high first rounder. Plus, he'll get a chance, if he does come back, Demetrius, to play with a basketball team that he won't have to worry so much about double and triple teams, because this basketball team is going to be able to stroke it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at first I was 100% that Isaiah was coming back, but I think with this COVID and it not being 100% sure if there's going to be even a college basketball season,
right.
I think Isaiah is actually really starting to take a look at the NBA. I know it's not guaranteed that he's going to go first round or even second round, but I think he understands that he does have some place, if not in the NBA, in the G League. And I think right now players are looking at it from a financial standpoint that have already been to college and understand what the college game has to offer. So, if I'm Isaiah Joe and I'm his parents, I'm taking a second look at the NBA and kind of seeing what's on the table, because right now, everything's up in the air, and I'd rather go get a paycheck and not play than go not play and get anything. That being going to college and just not having a season and going to school versus you going to the NBA and still collecting some form of check or payment to take care of your family. So, again, I think if you're Isaiah Joe, you're really taking another second look at that NBA.
And, that's what when you're dealing with this situation, the guy has the talent, and that's not a bad thing to continuously go through the process. And if he deems it worthy enough to stay in the draft and, pursue his career a year early, so be it. He's earned that right, as has his family. I tell a lot of people, when these kids get to this point, the families and themselves earn the right to be selfish. These guys have given up or young ladies have given up so much during their athletic careers that when it comes that time to make the decision to take care of your family, it has to be done. And if it's at the expense of Arkansas not being able to enjoy Isaiah for a year, then so be it. I mean, Coach Musselman and that staff, I believe, there's going to come a point, Demetrius, that Isaiah Joe will move on to the NBA, and he won't be in that number 1 jersey. So if it's a year early, hey, our props and all good luck and well wishes go out to Isaiah Joe. But my own personal opinion, I think Isaiah will be back.
Pat, I'll have some breaking news later on in the show. I just got a tweet that Texas A&M got put on probation for something.
Yeah, we were gonna mention that. Jimbo and the boys.
Yeah, so let me go
playing around illegally.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get a little bit more information on that real quick, and then I'll make sure to mention that later on in the show.
Playing around illegally. Are you shocked, Jimbo? And illegal foul play in the recruiting game has come up once again. I think, there's something of that nature where when he was at LSU, but it's just foul play. When you're outside the lines doing things that you're not supposed to do, you're going to get caught. What you do in the light eventually in the dark is going to come to the light. And, for the season that I thought, A&M was set up to have this year, this may be a big-time distraction for this program.
Yeah, I think it's a setback. I think it's going to pull up some old, I guess you could say, skeletons in Coach's closet that was already kind of going down there at the University of Florida State. So, I don't think anybody's shocked. I think, Boosters planned on this happening when he made his way, when Jimbo made his way down there to Texas A&M.
Anytime you show up to media day in cowboy boots, what you think?
Well, not only that, I think the pressure's really on him. You got to understand how much this man.
They pay you $70-something million.
You got to understand how much this man was getting paid, and he hadn't even won a game in the SEC yet. He had not even proven himself as one of the top coaches in the SEC. Right. So I think now we're going on year 3. This is going on year 3 for Jimbo now.
Yeah, I think year 3. Yeah. This
is year 3. Now you're talking about, hey, guy, we've been giving you 1-point-something million. You haven't come close to winning the SEC championship yet. You promised us that we were going to be in contention. This is year 3. I expect results. So I think once you start getting those expectations piled on you, coaches start kind of reaching a little bit and doing things that they know they shouldn't.
Also, too, once you get into the SEC, you realize it is a different world. Coach Sam Pittman said it from day one. Every coach that enters this conference, if you're not familiar with the landscape, I mean, you get totally overwhelmed, i.e., Chad Morris, i.e. Brett Bielema, and I really think that the Brett Bielemas and Chad Morrises coming up in the SEC going forward will be Drinkowitz and it will be Leach. I think those two guys are way over their head in the SEC. I see Drink talking a lot of yin yang, and that's what I like to call it, yin yang, because he's starting to try to build some rivalries, which I think have fallen on deaf ears, because when you have never accomplished anything in the SEC, either as an assistant coach or a head coach, you need to kind of zip it a little bit. And that's just my own personal opinion. I really feel like this football season, Demetrius, is going to be filled with a lot of surprises. Lots of surprises.
Yeah, I know you mentioned a couple of years ago about parity beginning to take place in college football, and it kind of started last year with LSU. Not necessarily shocking a lot of people, but I can even go back from when we had voted for who was going to be the champion at SEC media last year, and everybody unanimously had Alabama winning. They did not.
Outside of me, I tried to pick the Georgia Bulldogs.
You know me, I picked LSU to win last year. That was one thing I do pat myself on the back for, but.
See, I had them doing it this coming season.
Yeah, you did. I will say that. I will, because you was talking about what's his name, TJ Finley becoming the quarterback.
Yes.
So you have been, because I remember 2 years ago we had Finley actually on the show.
Yes. Because
Coach Bielema was recruiting him at one point in time. So I do remember that.
Like I said, parity, all those things aside, we're going to wrap up our 30-minute show as we have some administrative things to take care of here in
some big boy
office.
Big boy checks coming in.
Then, I'm telling you, man, it's about to turn up. When we get back on Monday, we're going back to the Hall guys. We got the bus. The bus just had to get new tires. It got wrapped nice and good, and we'll be back out on the road.
I'm ready for you to drop the news on them, Pat.
and neither do we. What you say there?
I said I'm ready for you to drop that big news on them, but I know it's not time yet. but I'm ready for you to drop that big news on the listeners. They're gonna love that.
Man, sometimes they say when you move in silence, echoes start to happen.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm saying. But hey, you guys have a great one. I want to give a shout out to the sponsors that make this possible each and every day here on the Hill with Pat Jenkins Sports Talk Radio. That being said, Lindsay and Associates with an office location in Fayetteville, an office location also too in Rogers. That's Locomotion. It's located just below the Northwest Arkansas Mall in Fayetteville. Corey Beck's Custom Painting, and the one I was just there last night. Don't know if I'm going to go today, but who knows? KDK's Chicken. It's located down at 989 South Razorback Road. Go see Keith and Kathy. Get a plate of that love, and like they say on the building, it's not your mama's. The best chicken and waffles in the South. Meet us there or beat us there. That's KDK's Chicken at 989 South Razorback Road. From our producer, Demetrius, and myself to you all, y'all have a great holiday weekend. Eat, drink, pop fireworks, be safe in doing all of it, and we'll be back on Monday with much, much more. It's On the Hill with Pat Jenkins on KDSJ 479. You guys have a great weekend and have a blessed one, and you know what I say. Let's get it.
Baby God.